Welcome to this audiobook summary of Behave, The Biology of Humans at Our Best and Worst by Robert M. Sapolsky. In this insightful book, Sapolsky dives into the complex world of human behavior, exploring the reasons behind our actions, emotions, and motivations. With a fascinating blend of biology, psychology, and sociology, Sapolsky helps us understand why we do what we do. Let's go over the main ideas in Behave in simple, easy-to-understand terms. What drives human behavior? At the heart of Behave is one big question: what drives human behavior, both good and bad? Sapolsky breaks it down by looking at different timescales. From what happens in the split second before an action to our evolutionary past, he explores the different factors that influence us. He begins with what's happening in our brains just before we act. Here, he looks at the role of neurons, hormones, and brain circuits that influence our reactions in the heat of the moment. Then, he goes further back, exploring what happened seconds, minutes, and even years before an action. This includes our childhood experiences, our culture, and the social environment we grew up in. Finally, Sapolsky examines our evolutionary history, explaining how traits developed over millions of years affect our behavior today. The brain's role in our reactions. Sapolsky explains how the brain is constantly processing information and reacting to our environment. For example, our brain has a part called the amygdala that processes emotions, especially fear and aggression. When we feel threatened, the amygdala reacts quickly, causing us to fight, freeze, or flee. Another key player is the prefrontal cortex. This part of the brain helps us think logically and control impulses. It's like our brain's brakes, helping us pause and consider our actions before we act. When we're calm and in control, the prefrontal cortex can guide us to make better choices. But in stressful situations, it might get overpowered by the amygdala, leading to more impulsive actions. The influence of hormones. Hormones also play a big part in human behavior. Testosterone, for instance, is often linked to aggression, but Sapolsky explains it's more about status and competitiveness rather than just causing violent behavior. Similarly, oxytocin, known as the love hormone, promotes bonding and trust, yet it can also lead us to be suspicious of those outside our social group. By examining these hormonal influences, Sapolsky shows us that our biology isn't just black and white. Hormones shape our emotions and actions in ways that can be both positive and negative. How culture and society shape us. Moving beyond biology, Sapolsky explores how culture and society impact our behavior. Our family values, social norms, and even the media all shape how we see the world and react to it. For example, in a culture that values individual achievement, people might be more competitive, whereas in a community-oriented culture, cooperation might be valued more. One interesting point Sapolsky makes is that even our sense of morality is influenced by society. What one culture considers wrong, another may view as acceptable. This variation shows that our sense of right and wrong isn't purely instinctual, it's shaped by our social environment. The role of evolution. To understand why humans act the way they do, Sapolsky also takes us back to evolution. Over millions of years, humans developed behaviors that helped us survive. Traits like cooperation, empathy, and even aggression were useful for survival in certain situations. For example, humans are more likely to be kind and cooperative within their own groups, a trait that helped early communities survive. However, this tendency to form groups can also lead to us versus them thinking, which can create conflicts with those who seem different. Sapolsky explains that while evolution has shaped us, it doesn't have to define us. Understanding our evolutionary past can help us make conscious choices about our actions today. Why understanding behavior matters. Sapolsky's key message is that understanding why we behave in certain ways can help us make better choices and create a kinder, fairer society. By looking at behavior through the lens of biology, psychology, and culture, we gain a fuller picture of what drives us. But Sapolsky also wants us to understand that we're not just products of our biology or environment. Humans have the capacity for self-awareness and choice. By reflecting on our actions and understanding the forces at play, we can work towards behaving in ways that are more compassionate and thoughtful. Conclusion: a guide to understanding ourselves. Thank you for joining this audiobook summary of Behave by Robert M. Sapolsky. This book is a deep dive into the many layers of human behavior, showing how everything from neurons to culture shapes who we are. Sapolsky helps us appreciate the complexity of human actions, from our most generous moments to our darker impulses. If you enjoyed this summary, please subscribe for more summaries of fascinating books that uncover the science of human behavior, motivation, and change.